Good evening and welcome to the Channel Studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. A senior Ukrainian official says a new attempt to evacuate civilians trapped with Ukrainian fighters in the Mariupol steelworks is underway. It comes as Russian-backed forces continue their assault on the plant using tank and artillery fire. There are thought to be around 200 civilians, including at least 20 children, still in bunkers under the steel plant. Almost 500 civilians have been safely moved from the city since a UN-led rescue operation began. Vladimir Putin says Ukraine should order its fighters in the Mariupol plant to surrender. Several US media platforms are reporting that the US provided intelligence that helped Ukraine sink the Moskva, Russia's flagship Black Sea missile cruiser. Unnamed officials said Ukraine had asked the US about a ship sailing to the south of Odessa. The US said it was the Moskva and helped confirm its location. Ukraine then struck it with 2 missiles. The Pentagon has not confirmed the reports, but a spokesman said the US gave intelligence to help Ukraine defend itself. A court in Belarus has sentenced a Russian student to 6 years in jail, 1 year after she and her dissident journalist partner were removed from a Ryanair plane and arrested. Sofia Sapega was travelling with Roman Protasevich to Lithuania when their flight was forcibly diverted to Minsk. The case sparked worldwide condemnation and fresh sanctions against the government of Alexander Lukashenko. The court said she was guilty of inciting social enmity and discord. Hundreds of mourners have attended the funeral of 2 Israeli men killed in an attack in a central Israeli city on Thursday. A manhunt is underway for 2 Palestinians suspected of killing 3 Israelis in an axe and knife attack in central Israel. It happened in the predominantly ultra-Orthodox Jewish town of Elad. 7 others were wounded, 2 seriously. It is the latest in a wave of deadly attacks in Israel by Palestinians or Israeli Arabs since late March. Boris Johnson has admitted his Conservative Party has faced a tough night in some parts of England in the local elections. There were celebrations from the Labour Party, which took 3 symbolic London councils from the Tories, winning in Westminster, which had been controlled by the Tories since 1964, Wandsworth since 1978, and Labour took Barnet for the first time. Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer described it as a big turning point for his party, but as counting continues, it is currently at a net loss of councils outside of London. The Prime Minister said it had been a mixed set of results for the party, with gains in some places and losses in others.
This has been a tough night for Conservatives in some parts of the country, and in other parts of the country we're actually moving forward. And so for mid-term, it's quite interesting that it's a mixed set of results.
The man accused of attacking US comedian Dave Chappelle on stage at the Hollywood Bowl has been charged with 4 counts of misdemeanor and will no longer face felony charges. Los Angeles City Attorney's Office has now hit Isaiah Lee with charges including battery and possession of a weapon with intent to assault. Prosecutors concluded that the evidence did not constitute felony conduct, but added that the alleged criminal attack must have consequences. President Biden has named Karine Jean-Pierre as his new top spokesperson, the first time a black person has held the role.
My colleague, my partner in truth, Karine Jean-Pierre, the next White House press secretary.
Ms. Jean-Pierre has served as the administration's principal deputy press secretary since Mr. Biden was elected. She will replace the outgoing press secretary, Jen Psaki, in the top role at the end of next week. Prince Harry and Prince Andrew will not appear on the Buckingham Palace balcony as part of the opening celebrations for the Queen's Platinum Jubilee next month. A palace source said the monarchy will be accompanied by members of the royal family who are currently undertaking official public duties on behalf of the Queen. There has been speculation about who will take part in the iconic royal balcony scene, waving to the crowds at the Trooping of the Colour during the next month's Platinum Jubilee weekend, which marks the Queen's 70th year on the throne. And finally, the largest diamond ever seen in auction market history could fetch $30 million in Geneva next week. The 228-carat white diamond called the Rock was mined and polished in South Africa over 2 decades ago. The auction house selling it says the war in Ukraine has also contributed to the diamond's price increase. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel Studios in Lagos.